Live. Welcome back, Martin.
Hiya, David. How are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Living the dream yourself?
Not too bad, but I've got high blood pressure problems, and I think as we're going to discuss tonight, I think the viewers will know why.
Right, so before we get started on all the boat business, we've got some positive news to start off with. So there are two political parties at the moment in the pipeline. We've got one with Lawrence Fox and also one with Dave Curtin. Lawrence Fox is launching a party called Reclaim. It's a bit more traditional. It's I think he's going to do all right. I think he's going to do quite well because I think the papers have been saying there's been a lot of speculation on how much money that he's raised so far. Some papers are saying he's raised $1 million. Some papers are saying 5 million. I think he's nicked a few Tory donors as well along the way. What's your view? What do you reckon?
It sounds very, very intriguing party. They said it would be like UKIP version 2, which of course UKIP wrote a magnificent manifesto back in 2017 and more in 2015 actually as well, well ahead of their game. So if it was something like that, I think he could potentially attract another 4.5 million voters at least, like we saw in 2015.
Potentially, he's got it. And also, as I was saying, we've got Dave Curtin, who's got the Heritage Party, which is a bit more, I'd say, conservative in the sense of an original conservative feel to it. So, I mean, these are great ideas. But again, obviously, like we're saying, it splits the vote and it, fractures the chances of success. Now, my personal opinion, I'd like to see Nigel Farage team up with Lawrence Fox. We need the big guns to join forces. We're not going to win this if we keep starting political parties. We saw it with what happened with UKIP. We've seen quite a few parties merge or splinter groups, you might say, from UKIP. What do you reckon?
That's always the problem. I mean, we're not really living in a democratic society. We're just forced to pick red or blue each time. That's what the first the past post system is. That is why we desperately need proportional representation voting, like most other countries, I believe, in the world use. Even the European Union do. And if we had a system like that, we would have had UKIP would have had 80 MPs back in 2015, but that would have it would have made Brexit a lot easier, caused the absolute destruction. The last 4 years has been absolutely devastating for our country with all this arguing and what have you going on. But if we had proportional representation, it would reflect what the people want more. So we got to these. It's great to have people like this step forward, but like you absolutely rightly said, we all need to work together now.
We do, and as you stated there, that's what's been the problem. We've seen, as we know, the House of Commons is just full of Remainers, and Boris Johnson hasn't done a great job in draining the swamp, so to speak. I see in the paper yesterday there's a vote this evening on Boris Johnson's Brexit deal, when apparently Theresa May is leading a rebellious group to squash Boris Johnson's Brexit deal over Northern Ireland. So in that sense, yes, I think you're right there. We do need to have proportionate representation rather than first past the post. So that's something that definitely needs to be looked at in the future in this country, because the old saying, you end up with Labour, don't you, if you vote for anyone else. And it's the lesser of two evils.
There's a Make Votes Matter, a campaign group now. I've been working for a couple of years, and people need to start supporting people like this, because we'll never get our democracy back. Well, we've got that stale duopoly playing bat and ball with power. There's no democracy in this country as far as I'm concerned.
It's well, it's quite surprising. You'd think with the lead that Boris Johnson took throughout the campaign, he's managed to get a massive majority for the Conservative Party. They broke down the red wall, and still, we're not seeing much from him. I would have thought by now he would have repealed a lot of the stuff that Tony Blair put into place. remove them because they've got the majority. They can get it done. They can pass through whatever they want, quite literally. But it hasn't been done, and they're just sitting on their hands, and letting all these boats in, which is another thing we want to get to now. So it's continued on a daily basis. We've seen so many boats coming over now, people, being filmed on the beach. Some of them aren't even being processed by Border Force. They're just literally getting off these little dinghies, walking along, getting picked up by transit vans and cars and driven in. To Dark, Nigel Farage posted some videos yesterday on Twitter showing pretty much exactly that. It's a nightmare. Now we've got ones that are here that are being processed, are being put up in army barracks across the country, and we've got veterans that have served our country, paid into our system, put their lives on the line. They're homeless. It's estimated there's approximately 7,000 homeless veterans on the UK streets. But that's okay. We'll leave them on the streets, and we'll take these random strangers that we don't know who they are. They could be ISIS, they could be rapists, they could be murderers, it could be absolutely anybody because they've been processed. We don't know who they are, but we'll put them up in the barracks and leave the veterans on the street. I think. What have you made of it? Because my blood's starting to boil now just talking about it.
Well, I mean, I speak to the people out in the streets of my hometown in Swindon, and they come up to me, Martin, what is going on? And I can't offer them any resolution for it. It's out of my absolute understanding why somebody, a complete unknown, would get treated far better than someone who's put their life on the line for their country. I mean, is this how they're going to repay people? It just doesn't make sense. Something very, very rotten is going on. Something stinks here. And I think everyone should be concerned about this because there's clearly a lack of control on our borders. And like you said, it could ISIS sleeper cells be coming in. We heard last week there was someone who should have been booted out because he'd been jailed for rape. He's still here. It just goes on, and I'm starting not to feel safe now in this country, and that's echoed by many people as well, I believe.
Well, do you know what, Martin? As this goes on, as time goes on, you see and you hear these conspiracy theories, and they are conspiracy theories, but only time can tell. Time's the truth teller, and as time's gone on, I'm now looking at these what I would call conspiracy theories, and I'm now looking at it thinking, hold on a minute, they might be onto something here. I don't know. You've seen this UN Agenda 2021, 2030, and all this stuff, and this population replacement, the clergy plan. I heard all these conspiracy theories, but you think, oh, with these people are nut jobs. But then when you see what's going on, when you see the bigger picture, you start to think, hold on a minute, these people might have a point here. Are these really conservatives? Because they're not acting like them.
No. Well, like I said, you never trust a Tory, and that phrase still rings true. If Boris Johnson really wanted to be the next Churchill, he had that opportunity to do it. And a year on, he's still done nothing really to sort this country out. It's still in a complete mess. It's just empty promises again, like we had with Theresa May. It's we need a real leader for this country. Otherwise, it's going to be the start at the end of the collapse of Western civilization. So I'm really worried at the moment when I see crime levels rising and suicides and things are all on the up. This country is not a great place to be in at the moment.
Well, this whole the population growth in our country, it's mostly down to immigration. We have a declining population among white Brits. We're importing more and more people. This is where this whole clergy ban, this population replacement thing comes into play. We've got these socialists, as we've spoken before, about the Fabian Society. The Fabian Society, the way that they've infiltrated many institutions, be it educational, the police force, the government, local councils, social services, you name it. They've infiltrated everywhere. And that's what we are seeing. We are seeing the fall of the West. It's not just happening here. It's happening, they're attempting to do it in the US, in Australia, in New Zealand. We're seeing. So I think what we really need to do is once, if we're successful in getting a party like Lawrence Fox's party into power, at some stage further down the line, we need to, look at our repatriation laws and maybe put into place something to tackle neo-Marxism because of the divide and rule and the division that they play. I think it'd be like, are you a socialist? Yes. Well, congratulations. You've just won yourself a first class ticket to Venezuela. And then just send them off. And they can go and live in Venezuela. They can go starve to death like the rest of the poor buggers over there and crack on because we don't want that here.
No, that's it. That's the sort of selfish society we become, though. And like you said, they've all been indoctrinated primarily at the schools and the universities. They've been brainwashed into this way of thinking, and they don't see it. One of the other targets was the mainstream media. We've seen the way that's been attacked, and the way they're carrying on with this virus thing. Like it's the Black Plague or something. When you just go, if you look at the facts, not what they pump out, you can see that it just doesn't add up. Once again, it just stinks. The whole thing, it just stinks. Like I said, this country's not a great place to be in at the moment. It feels like we're on the battlefield, to be quite honest.
Well, we are. We're in a war at the moment, and every day's a battle. So anyway, to the viewers are watching right now. So me and Martin, we started a campaign with Richard Brain, a former UKIP leader, to bombard the Home Secretary, Priti Patel, with as many letters as you possibly can. And we just want to drive her crazy. Basically, I've had a response. The letter I got back from her was basically saying that it's a very complex situation. And, basically, until we leave the EU, there isn't much she can do. She did, however, try to reassure me by telling me that intelligence services were over in France, basically infiltrating these gangs. And there was like 11 people arrested last month in London for people smuggling, yada, yada, yada. But every day we see these boats continuing to come over. Richard Brain's idea, as you heard, was to not bring them to the mainland. Okay, if we have to process these people, if we have to take them by law, we can put them onto British territory. It doesn't have to be here on the mainland. We can ship them out to South Georgia, to some islands below the Falklands, and and they can stay out there. So yeah, basically that's what we're doing. We're bombarding the Home Secretary of these letters. I'll leave a link to that below, so please make sure you download the letter. It's a generic letter; it changes every time. And just get your letters sent off, and let's just bombard her with as many letters as we possibly can. You've got your you've posted this a few times, haven't you?
Have indeed. I urge everyone to do this. Don't get mad. Get even. Get that letter to voice your concern. I know a lot of people can't go to protests and things, but this is the least you can do. Is just write this letter and pop it in the post box. If we've got this constant stream of letters going in every day, it would obviously hopefully start driving the message home, because we can't just sit here and do nothing about it and watch our country fall to bits like this. So I appreciate a lot of the elderly, etc., or busy people can't make it. So send a letter instead. It's
protest
really important.
by post. I was having a chat with some activists last week. I was out having a beer in central London, and one of them happened to mention that there was a job going. Priti Patel has put out a job for another PA. So they're going to need it. They're going to need all the help they can get to open all these letters and read them and reply to people. We want to drive them absolutely mental. So make sure you do that. And Martin, thanks very much for your time. Thanks for coming on.
No worries. Thank you very much, David.
Put it there, but we'll speak again soon. Don't forget, guys, I'll leave the link below the video, so make sure you click on that. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We get heavily censored by the lefties. Martin's constantly being banned from Facebook, 30-day bans and whatnot. I'm completely banned from Facebook now. they're just trying to silence us. So please make sure you do, whether you're watching this on Facebook, like Martin Costello's page. If you're watching this on YouTube, press the subscribe button and subscribe to the channel. Martin, we'll speak again soon.
See you later.